Spokane Valley, meet Sim Motion, your local home for high-performance sim racing gear. Budget setups from $300. Visit us in Spokane Valley.
For 3 rounds, this series featured on the broadcasts has gone round and round to tell its story. But today, under stormy Badger State skies, there is a twist to that plot, literally. Because today, the comfort of the ovals have been discarded in favor of Elkhart lacustrine turns and twists. So for the season, the spotlight has been shared by 2 drivers, Craig Forsythe and Kyle Clenworth, neither of which are here right now, leaving all others to crawl from the shadows into whatever light was left. But what is left means less than before, because while every corner so far this season has indeed been to the left, today's venue does that only thrice per lap, with 11 other turns going strangely to the right. And then there is the question, not whether, but of the weather. That's right, if things weren't unpredictable enough, the forecast is for rain. So pull the lever on the lazy boy and settle in for the excitement of simulated Dallara IR-18s weaving their way through 4 miles of Wisconsin boondocks. Streaming cyberspace into your place from Road America, it's the Virtual Grip Network's 4th round coverage of the ISRA Sim Gaming Expo Open Wheeled Series Season 3. A damp and drizzly Cheese cranial hello and welcome on this Wednesday. It's February 11th, 2026. Jeremy Gridlock Scott joins yours truly, Bill Stoops on high up in the VGM press box to bring you our words eye view, turn the knobs and pushing the sliders. The boss man, Lowell Jewell. Okay, partner, are you excited as I am? Because I'm pretty excited.
You know what? Road America will always hold a special place in my hearts, where I've gotten plenty of firsts in professional and really grassroots racing, to say the least. And I know this track like the back of my hand. It is easily my favorite place to go to, and quite frankly, I can say this out in the open, it wouldn't be Road America without a little bit of rain. I'm excited to see what these drivers can do. It's going to be fun for 55 minutes of racing around the Moraine Valley.
Let's go ahead and take a quick look at the points, and I can report that indeed your points leader, Kyle Clenworth, has shown up. You know, the top rung of the points ladder has been swapped every race between Craig Forsythe and 2-time defending champion Kyle Clenworth. Now, Forsythe's not here today. He's on vacation. I think driver truancy or lack of it may be the deciding factor in the championship. Let's talk about Richie Hearn and Forsythe. They are the only drivers who've raced all 400 laps this season, incident-free. And of those 400 laps, Matt Taylor has led 181 of them, including the last lap at Gateway last time out. A second at Vegas is Christopher's only top 5. An 8th last time out at Gateway drops Alex Guillon, down into a couple spots into 6th. How about Hugo Gallis? He puts the devil on his head. 9th at Fontana, 9th at Vegas, 9th at Gateway. A Gateway 12th was Ryan O'Donoghue's season worst. You take Gallis, O'Donoghue, along with David Serow and Mason Mitchell, and you got 4 drivers who are still looking to pick up their first top 5. But Mace, down there in 10th position, did earn poles in rounds 1 and 2. And then you see the rest of your drivers down 11th through 20th. We're a little bit slim here tonight. I think the road course has scared these guys away. By this series standards, we're only looking at what here? About 14 drivers. Look at 13 so far.
Yeah, 13 have entered into the pits, where the checker flag is out for this session, as the cars will get gridded up here. I think we're going to grid them up here on around Canada corner, but it's going to be interesting to see what we can do here for 55 straight minutes of racing. I'm really excited. You know, Matt Taylor really has impressed me. He finally got that first win a couple of weeks ago at Gateway. Excited to see what he can do, and might try and go for 2 in a row. He was unlucky in those first 2 races where he led a good part of those laps, Soup, but looking pretty good so far as we enter into the second part of the season.
Hope they grid us up at Canada Corner. I remember doing many a race here at Road America. Hopefully iRacing has changed the format. We used to go around the whole way, which made for quite a long parade lap. On the front row, it is indeed Matt Taylor. He's going to be inside of David Thoreau.
Eagle Galaz will be alongside former American F1 hope. Oh, wait, no, he's actually former Champ Car and IndyCar driver Richie Hearn.
Frenchman Alec Guillon will be starting in 5th. He's going to be flanked by Matthias Marcomini.
Chris Reagan will be alongside Rodrigo Munoz in the 4th row.
Jim Herrick will be starting in 9th spot with Little Train. Lionel Callisto in 10th. Watch out for him. He can work his way through this small field.
And so if you don't mind, I will round out the field as we got David Rodriguez and Mike Rigney making up row 6, and shotgun on the field, 38 of Lewis Hayes. One of my favorite parts about this this race track is outside of the facility. You've got the town of Elkhart Lake, not too far away. Great things to do there. And another one of my favorite things in this area, so many supper clubs. You also have the headquarters of Sargento and Johnsonville, literally not too far away from there. And Kyle Clenworth now just checking in. So we will take 14 to the green flag.
Gets in just in time. And indeed, let's take a tour of the entire 4 miles here at Road America, as they're going to take us all the way around the track. You can tell it's a little bit overcast here. We're going to have to play around with the adjustments on the camera there. Or better yet, what you can do is just get a wet cloth and go up to your monitor or your TV screen and wipe it off. You might be able to see a little bit better. Down through corner number 1. There are a lot of phantom corners here. There's somewhere in between corner number 1 and corner number 3. There is a corner. I've never seen it. So we come down to the right-hander that is corner number 3. There you go.
Well, the only reason why there's corner number 2 and you haven't seen it yet is you haven't had enough Miller Lights to get you through the day. Once you get a couple more in you, then you start to see corner 2 and corner number 4, which we kind of call corner number 4, coming under the Sargento Bridge here.
Now, I'm telling you, if you want an action corner, if you want one corner to sit at, there's some good choices. But for me, corner number 5 is the action corner. You have this long kind of straightaway that leads down in here, and this is such a tempting corner to dive down and make a run. You'll see lots of action as they head down in here through this left-hander and then down to the next left-hander a little bit farther.
You know, the one thing that I wish iRacing would incorporate here, if you look drivers left, right past the trees, if you're sitting drivers right or even drivers left, you can see a little speed trap. And they show you the speeds of the cars coming down the long straightaway hanging into turn number 5. And it's neat to see how fast they come. Now, this is one of my favorite spots to watch practice is inside turn 7. When Jimmy Johnson was running IndyCar here, I actually watched him spin at turn 7, something that's really hard to do because it's a right-handed kink. And you see so much here through the 6, 7, 8 downhill that you can see most of the race, most of the second sector through here.
They go through Hurry Downs, and then if you listen closely, if you turn up the volume on what you're watching, you may be able to hear the calliope as they work their way through the carousel. This is a long right-hander. And then maybe not so scary in these Delars because they're pretty much full song through it, but if you ever do it in a car that has a little bit of needs a little bit of a lift, and they get to the kink, oh man.
If you had the opportunity to watch Champ Cars at full song coming out of the kink, it was a hair-raising moment, to say the least, to watch him go full bore coming down through 11A and 11B, especially when you're leaning outside that fence trying to hold a flag and figure out, do I need to show the driver a blue flag to have them check their mirrors? But this is one of my favorite sections. It's Canada Corner. Soup, do you know why they call turn 12 Canada Corner?
I do not.
One of the rumors I heard was because it's the furthest north and closest corner to Canada. The other one was there was a bunch of drunk Canadians that rolled down the hill and down the track. I'll go with both stories. Why not?
Well, from what I understand, our president would like to call it 51st State Corner, but we'll see how that plays out. Don't know if that's actually going to happen. All right. Then we come to this long straight. I'll tell you right now, Sister Martha, unplug your pipe organ. We don't need your sacred music right now, because the Cathedral of Speed is full of the loud voices of Dolores from the heavens as they go down into the first corner, and I think we got rain already happening.
Yeah, we do, Soup. But of course, this is going to be interesting to see how these drivers come through. Everybody on alternates. I think Glenworth is the only one, as I saw him go back and forth into the pits multiple times as they work their way heading through turn number 4. It's Matt Taylor with the early advantage, and we're seeing Glenworth on the alternates. So it's only going to be a matter of time before drivers decide to come in for full wets.
They'll need to make a stop for fuel. And then the question is about tires. I have a hunch they'll be coming in pretty soon. It is Matt Taylor out in front. The guys are doing a really good job of keeping it clean so far. We can look there at the tire compounds. Go ahead, partner.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, Lionel Castillo and Mike Rigney right now not showing anything. Something else we're going to have to watch out for are the push to pass. You don't normally see them on the ovals. They've got 200 seconds of push to pass to use anytime during the race. I think it's a little early to start thinking about that push to pass. Gives you a little bit extra horsepower. As Lewis Hayes with a quick off and on, he's back underway, sits there in 12th place. But everybody so far making their way down. If there's any place, now this is from personal experience, if there's any place that's going to get wet quick, it's going to be right through there, through Kettle Bottoms, between turns 11 and turns 12. That is the lowest point on the racetrack.
You're talking about push to pass and it being too early, and our Matt Taylor's going to stay out. My dad always told me, son, using push to pass is like buying drinks for women at the bar. You want to spend them early when the competition is steep and the picking is ripe. You don't want to wait till the end when all you really need is a stick of gum and a cheesy line. So now we got some more biters for people coming in for tires.
And no surprise, Soroka to take the first gamble down pit road in the 0.99. So he'll fall all the way back to 13th. Glenworth will most likely follow him. Lewis Hayes with a hard off track. Same with Mike Rigney. But those two making their way around. I think this is when we're going to start to see that switch point. What we normally see when drivers come in for new tires. Of course, the way that iRacing works, it's sometimes a little hard to see how hard it's raining. So some of these drivers might not think it's too wet just yet. But we have seen a couple of drivers go off in turn number 5. We saw by the gravel. Now working their way around turn number 6.
It is Taylor, Richie Hearn, and Hugo Gallus, your top 3. Small field. Best battle might be, can we check in on that? This is for 5th spot. This is Chris Reagan. He's being chased by Marco Mini. And of course, between the hybrid battery and the push to pass, you really don't know who's got what.
You know, Soup, taking a look at the tire compounds, at least on our timing and scoring, we're not seeing who's on wet. So my guess, because the ones that don't have the alternates are Callisto, Rigney, Soro, and Glenworth. I think that those 4 drivers are taking a gamble, and that's a smart gamble, especially with a 55-minute race we're going on time, not necessarily laps.
Leader working lap number 3, and again, talking laps really not important right now as they come your way out of the haze. That is Chris Reagan. Whoops, and he goes around somebody, not sure who that was. Somebody had an off. Reagan now up into fourth.
So great battle here for position. You're going to see that going into turn number 5 as Reagan makes his way up the third around Gallas, but Gallas is going to take the switch around and they're going to go side by side through turn number 6. Reagan with that tight line, he's going to go just a little bit wide because he has that advantage to be able to do that coming out of 6 now through 7. So move Chris Reagan up to 4 spots. He's your highest climber so far, but he's still got a bit of distance to catch up to Hearn in second place.
So we ride on board. You're looking at that 3-car train. That's Reagan, Marcomini back there. And then the last car in line, oh, I'm sorry, is Marcomini.
Tell you what, Marcomini looking pretty good so far. He's only missed one race. One of the higher finishers up on the 2 race drivers. He's got 1 top 10 on the season with 72 points. Only has led, well, only has 1 bonus point. Yet to lead a lap so far. But oh, we got 1 car off. That's going to be Richie Hearn with the slide off into the right side tire barriers coming off of Canada corner. He gets the car underway, and he's in 6th. Would not be surprised to see him come in for wets.
He got a pretty good shot. So he was racing in 2nd. We'll bring it back out. Everybody coming down pit lane now. Taylor, Reagan, Gallius, Marcomini. It's the whole kid and caboodle. Hayes. So now we get down to the guys we think might be on a different tires, and that is Rigney. Rigney stays out, as does Clendy.
So the only 2 drivers who did stay out that are not on wets are Herrick and Hayes. I have a feeling that they're going to try and gamble and see if the rain's going to move away, but knowing how it is in East Central Wisconsin come race time, the rain may be sticking around for quite some time.
So let's go ahead and put the camera on Lionel Callisto. I believe he is your race leader right now. Now Callisto has been out there on the same tires that he started with. I don't believe anybody started on wets.
I'm not 100% sure on that one. I think Glenworth gambled from pit out. He had a pit road start, so no surprise that he would start on wets. Let's see here. The highest of the ones who have pitted so far, that's Matt Taylor sitting there in 4th place as Callisto making his way around Canada corner nice and gingerly.
I'm working here. Half one eye on the track and one eye on the technology. I think Callisto also may have started on wets.
Yes.
He looks very confident out there, so that's why he's able to stay out on the same tires he started with. Herrick on the alternates right now. I'm surprised he's still out there according to my timing and scoring. But he seems to be quite comfortable, so based on eyeballs, I think he's probably got on the wets.
No, he's got alternates on. I did see the red sidewall tires, and he's the only one out there running with the red sidewall tires. Yeah, he's gonna have to come in this next time by because that car is not happy. It does not matter how hot those tires are. We're taking a look at Lewis Hayes, who we heard had an incident. Looks like in turn 5.
Got away cheap, I think. Okay.
He did.
So then Herrick comes in. So indeed, Callisto is on wet tires. Matt Taylor on wet tires.
Tell you what, Callisto if he did make the gamble early on to start on wets. That was one heck of a gamble. Lewis Hayes taking the tow into the pits. Rodriguez with a long off. So the only driver out there that still has yet to pit for wets, that's Jim Herrick.
Yeah, racing in second. Let's see if we can take a look at Herrick. In fact, Herrick just had it off. Let's look at him right now. He's struggling. He is having a hard time. In fact, Taylor has got around him. He's down to third. Bleeding positions. You can see him through the haze. There he is. He'll be coming in soon.
Yeah, you see the right sidewalls on Herrick. He's definitely going to have to come in. He's burned about 15 seconds of push to pass. Callisto's burned about 32 seconds, with Glendworth having 163 seconds left in push to pass. And now we're starting to see the early runners who came in early for wets. They're really starting to go away, and you can really tell by the lap times right now. Callisto with a 3.405, it's with a 2. Herrick, though, 2:12.677. Let's see if he comes into the pits. I would imagine he would have to, and indeed he is. So nobody's going to be on any sort of slicks. It puts Mike Rigney up to third place. He came in early, 2:05.326 last time by was his best time. So you're going to see drivers anywhere between the 5s and the 15s if they are running wets that have been out for a while.
Of course, Little Train Callisto, well known on many iRacing broadcasts. He's out there comfortably ahead. In fact, got quite a gap. About 18 seconds right now on Taylor. Of course, Taylor had to make that pit stop to come in to get the wet tires. We talked with Mike Rigney before the race. We're looking at Little Train working his way through the mist, through the kink. Only a mistake from Little Train's going to cost him right now. He just needs to be careful. Look at him work the wheels, though. We talked to Mike Rigney. He hates these road courses, but strategy has helped him out as he's sitting in third.
Wait a second.
Oh, there we go. Go ahead.
I was going to say, doesn't Mike make the schedule?
He does indeed, but he plays it fair. Yeah. He doesn't mind the road courses. The only reason he doesn't like road courses is he loses all of his car counts go down, and no series organizer likes that to happen.
Come on, road course racing in an IndyCar is half the fun of an IndyCar series. I know you're looking at timing as much as I am, Soup. It's interesting seeing how many red off tracks that we are getting. If you're watching on the YouTube stream, definitely click on that live timing link, and you'll see the same timing that Soup and I are watching. That's one thing about Road America. Now, yes, it does winter, because the winters are harsh, obviously, in East Central Wisconsin, being so close to Lake Michigan, but when this track gets slick, it gets slick. And it's not at its slickest yet. If this rain stops, I would not be surprised to see the drying track be a lot more slick than a wet track.
That's interesting. Director, can we ride on board with Chris Reagan? He's got a target ahead of him, and I don't think it's going to be long for him before he gets to Rigney. There he is. That driver that he just went around was indeed Rigney, who just made a mistake. So move Reagan up into third. Rigney now, with that mistake, has fallen down to fifth. Driver we have not talked much about, Rodrigo Munoz. He's in 4th right now. Up 3 spots from where he started. There's Rodrigo. Handsome looking chap. I'm going to pull the curtain back here on. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, Rigney falling way down the field. He's down to 9th. Galaz, Hearn, Sorrell, they've all gotten around him as well. By the way, Hearn, after his mistake at the exit Canada corner, up to 7th. Now knocking on the door of Marcamini.
Coming your way. There's Rigney, who's struggling. He had his moment of fame. There's Marcamini in that battle. Just ahead of him, Richie Hearn. And then Hugo Gallas.
And that livery, that livery of Marcamini looks absolutely slick, Soup. I've got to say that. If we had a award for livery of the race, that'd probably be it. As he's trying to hold off Sorrell there. But yeah, that's another thing. With all these trees, it's keeping that moisture in. So things are going to look really foggy for a lot of these drivers as we see Hearn just a little bit wide, but he's closing in on Galaz for that 5th position.
It's a nice little 4-car battle. And of course, iRacing spares no expenses. They actually hire botanists to come in to actually figure out how the foliage will react to the moisture.
Oh, they just bring in Bob from Sheboygan and Don from Plymouth, Wisconsin, and they just say, oh, no, this is how it's done. It's done here, and yeah, I'll take my spotted cow, please.
Very nice. Boy, the camera's from a distance. How about we go on board, Director? Can we go on board with Richie Hearn? Because maybe he can see what he's trying to run down. There's a nice car battle. All right. Careful, Richie. Whoa! I told him to be careful. You know what? He used to be in the booth with me. He never listened to me in the booth either. That's the opposite of commentator's curse. I tried to help him.
Now, I've got, for Soup's Flipboard Army, take this note down. Let's watch the replay, though. And that's just going to happen here. And like we said, this is the lowest point in the racetrack, so it's going to be the slickest. It's going to have the most rain, and yeah, runs on those rumble strips, and you'd want to stay away from those, especially because there's that painted line between the rumble strips and the track. Now, take a look at Soup's Clipboard Army, and this is going to come into play later on in the race. If you see the white sidewall, those are the wet tires. Black sidewall is going to be your primaries. Red is going to be your alternates. So once we start getting the pit stops, if it gets drier, we'll see what drivers can do. I know everybody started on the alternate red, so they've already fulfilled their one alternate stint this race.
Great battle. Can we go and look whether camera we want on Hugo Gallas? He's in a battle with Monzon right now. Munoz in a battle this is for 4th and 5th. There's Richie Hearn. Let's go ahead and see if we can jump up to Rodrigo Munoz in 4th position. Because I'm telling you, he is coming. Hugo Gallas is coming. Gallas is right behind him. There they are. And then that is Sorrell watching a little farther back. So a 3-car battle. Rooster tail, baby. Whoa, Nelly.
Oh, absolutely fantastic. Yeah, you want to stay out of that grass most times, but especially now because that wet grass will speed you up. So Gallus falls back to 6th place. Soro now sets his sights on Munoz, with Marco Mini looking at Rooster Tails of Gallus coming out from Bill Mitchell Bend into turn number 14. You know, that number 099 of Soro almost reminds me of the Ed Carpenter Splenda cars, and it kind of looks sharp.
There we see him right there. Coming your way. Just ahead of him is Munoz. Behind him, Hugo Gallus. Three-car battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th. Oh, and I'm telling you, Gallus is all over the back now of Guillaume. Guillaume has had a slowdown.
You've got this battle here.
Yeah, go ahead.
I say you got this battle here between Guillaume and Gallus. Then for 9th between Hart and Rodriguez, and that was precipitated by Hearn having a long off track. And there we go. The Rodriguez gets around Hearn. You saw Marcamini Gallus make his way around Guillaume. So still plenty of swapping going around. Of course, we've got still plenty of racing left to go.
Look at my partner using some panistic vocabulary there. It precipitated. Well done. You didn't even know you did that, did you?
It's an Illinois public education I got.
Well, you know, I know you have experience in like local news. Maybe we can get you put on a fancy pair of heels and a short skirt. Get out there and give us a weather report, man.
How do you think I got let go of the news?
I'm feeling a little queasy.
Bossman said that would do it. Hey, Soup, I don't know if you saw there, but if you took a look, when we go back to Canada Corner, take a look at driver's right on the entry right there by the rumble strips. We're starting to see some potting right there also heading into turn number 14. So some of these drivers are really going to have to watch out. It's going to be a matter of time before we start to see some of these cars taking a different line than what you're used to, and that's the rain line. There's Marcamini actually starting to take that rain line.
Racing in 6th spot. Trying to run down, if you can, David Soro. Somewhere up there is Soro. It's a timed race. We're going 55 minutes. Just getting to do a little math here. 55 cut in half is 27:30. Uh-oh.
A little tail slapper from Marcamini there. We'll see what he can do here to kind of close in. Of course, Guillaume has gotten around Rodriguez as well for position, and so is Richie Hearn. I think Rodriguez has a problem. Yeah, they're dancing around turn number 5.
This is a great battle between Guillaume, who's going the wrong direction, and then Rodriguez.
So Hearn's got a fast car. He just needs to figure out how to get around turn 12 without tank slapping her, because he's done that twice already. And if he wouldn't have done that, I would imagine that he probably would be getting up there to the bottom, around the podium. Here's the problem. It's 46 seconds between first and third. That is how much of a stranglehold Kalisto has on the field. He's got about 20 seconds up on Taylor. Taylor has been dominant here in leading laps this season, 181 going into this race. So, you know, Kalisto, take a look where he's in the points. He's only run one race, 2 laps led. He's looking pretty good for a career best finish so far.
He's a part-time here in this series, but certainly a lot of experience. Thoreau just ahead of Guillaume. Well, now it's Richie Hearn who's moved in there. Guillaume has fallen back. Hearn continues to climb through the field. He might be having the most fun of anybody. He's passed a lot of cars, made a lot of mistakes.
I gotta cut the guy some slack, you know. But when was the last time that he was racing in the rain in an open wheel car?
I'm not sure. Well, that would be. Of course, just turned 55 here in January. We wish him the best. Not only is Richie Hearn a race car driver, he also has a degree in culinary arts. So I was hoping that he could get to a podium. Oh, Nelly! Sweet fancy Moses! What a save by Richie Hearn.
Well, you see how he's putting that culinary arts degree to work. He's just got the fast hands, and I think they just went around Lewis Hayes. And yeah, indeed he did. Hayes going one lap down. You look out the back, you start to see what the ground effects are doing to the car, to the brain, I should say, as he's making his way around the carousel. That's such a cool shot. Oh, and he spins once again around the carousel. I didn't want to take carousel too literally.
Nice save. Doesn't hit anything, and he goes back at it. Just more cars for Hearn to pass.
I just got off a race earlier today with another former Champ Car driver racing. He started last and made his way up to second. At this point, I made the point during that race too. Retired race car drivers, they're either bitter or they're just having fun. I imagine that, yeah, Richie Hearn, he's had his mistakes, but he's probably having the time of his life out there.
There's not a lot of sense of humor in Richie Hearn when things go wrong. I hope he's having a good time. I hope there's no children nearby where he's racing, because I imagine the curse words may be flying. Why don't we show these guys how it's done? Can we put the camera on Little Train, Lionel Callisto, your leader? He has just crushed it. Nobody near him. He's got 19 seconds on Matt Taylor. Now again, Taylor had to come in and make a stop. Callisto was wise, and he stayed out there the first time, but he's just having no problems at all. It's hard to tell through the fog. Was that Ken, or that was either... No, that's the S's there.
Well, he's actually coming up through the Bill Mitchell bend, heading into turn number 14. Something's wrong with Harris because he's had a long off.
And did he take a pit stop? Is it a fuel stop maybe for Callisto? As we're going to hear, we're going to find Taylor. Whee! Oh. You know, maybe the racing gods did us all a favor by giving us a small field. Otherwise, we've seen lots of spins, but I don't know if we've ever seen anybody get together. All right, Callisto comes in for fuel. Almost certainly going to go back out there on rain tires. Unless he's able to see something on the radar that I don't. It looks like the rain's going to stay here for a while.
Oh, yeah. He's most certainly on the wet tires. Of course, you got to get the wax buildup off it. Yeah, he's on the wet tires. The white sidewalls are on the tires for the number 2 of Callisto. Now we know how many laps it is taken drivers to get out there. I think we're going to be another 3 laps away from the rest of the field having to come in, because Callisto started on wet tires. So right now, he's the aggregate leader, as we say it. So Matt Taylor, Chris Reagan, Munoz, all those drivers are going to, a little bit of a wiggle. It's going to take a little bit of time for those tires to warm up. We're looking at 68 degrees Fahrenheit for the ambient temperature, 75.2 for the track temperature. So that track is still technically cold.
See how I did the math there for you when I cut that 55 minutes in half? I got out took advantage of my Catholic school education and gave you 27:30, and that's just about when Callisto made a stop. When halfway, you have to keep in mind they did that full pace lap around here at very slow speeds. Didn't burn up that much petrol. So Lionel has circled back out in front.
So there's Matt Taylor sitting there in the lead. Of course, the fastest lap of the race came early on at a 49.646. To put that in perspective, Soup, I did some homework today, which I'm kind of surprised that I was able to do it first time in years. Can you tell me what year this lap was made on? It's the track record at a 141.874, which is hauling the mail around here.
In an Indy car?
Yep, that's track.
I would have to think that would be back before they changed the I bet you that's back in the kart day when they had all that horsepower. I'm going to say 84.
No. You're about
what is
14 years too early.
Really?
Yes.
84? That's 90. I got the little math help from my turn. 98 is split time. Well, I should have got that.
Yep, that was Alex Zanardi with a 41.874 around here. The modern fastest lap is by Aussie Will Power in 2023, the IR18 with a 42.892. So 700 horsepower, you get a lot done here at Road America. You see Cerrone knocking at the door of 5th place with Mark Amini. We haven't had many battles, but I'll tell you what, with the spray, it makes it difficult for the driver behind to figure out where he wants to go as Galaz is on the button. You saw the red light with the time going down. He's already burned up about 20 seconds of push to pass. Callisto with 115 left to go. A couple drivers haven't even used the button at all. Those include Guillaume Rodriguez, Soro, Mark Amini, and Chris Reagan. Also Rigney and Hayes.
When you think about it, the reason they're not going faster is not because they don't have the horsepower. It's not safe to go any faster. So you got to wonder what purpose the push to pass. More like a push to spin.
That's half the fun. Come on.
All right. My partner corrected me, and I appreciate that. On a Matt Taylor yet to make that stop. He's got himself a 17-second gap over Callisto. Taylor's been out there for 12 laps. He's going to have to come. And those guys, everyone's going to have to come in pretty soon other than Callisto. And Kyle Kenworth has made his stop. He's good to go.
Yeah, Clendy just coming out onto the circuit. So see Taylor have to come in at least this lap. You know, with a 4 mile stretch, you have 1 lap you have to come in. So I think this is going to be his in lap right here. And what's going to be interesting with Callisto coming in halfway, he can't push as hard as these drivers who are going to be able to come in this time by as Soro comes into the pits. He's the first of the drivers who pitted for wets earlier on in this race to come in. And also keep this in mind, it's a long delta from pit in to pit out because your race, you're basically your pit speed limiter starts at that bridge at the top of the hill off of turn number 14 and goes all the way to pit out. That's a long pit road. I think it's the longest here in the series.
To give you how long they are on pit lane, not just in the box, but in pit lane, Callisto was on pit lane for 41 seconds. So yeah, it is a long run. There's take a look at one of my favorite graphics. You can see all the blue there for Lionel, the second line down. He went so far on that stop. Also, you see Rigney, who started on those wet tires, going the distance.
And now we're going to see who decides to come in. But go ahead, Soup.
If you're a series organizer, it's one thing to put your oval guys on a road course and ask them to show up. It's a tall order to put it on a road course and then have it rain. Taylor coming in for a stop.
And of course, we have the pit lane aggregate delta time
at
on the
that.
screen. Yeah, it's pretty neat graphic that the boss man has made for us to make our jobs just a little bit easier, because we don't have 40 fingers and toes, we just have 20, and I get lost after 20, so it's a good thing that he does that. Something else I noticed too, Taylor almost ended up stuffing it into the wall coming into the pits.
Now we expect him to cycle out in second. The driver in third right now is Chris Reagan, but he's a long way away. There's Matt Taylor.
We'll see how he handles these first couple of corners under the new wet tires. We saw Kalisto have some issues. Reagan, Munoz, they'll have to pit in the next lap or so. Oh, yep, taking a high line.
I actually thought Reagan might be able to get out there. Taylor would be able to get out there even in front of Reagan, but that's not the case. So Reagan and Munoz needing to make their stop. The gap from Kalisto back to Taylor, about 16 seconds from what would be first to fourth. He took Reagan and Munoz out of there.
Of course, once Reagan and Munoz pit, Kalisto's going to have some nice breathing room back to second place, as we got just shy of 20 minutes left to go in this race. Kalisto jumped out in front when everybody had to come in for wet tires at about lap 3. So it was a great strategy called. See if it plays out for him. Of course, the big question is, since he had to pit it halfway, can he make it last the entire race? So far, knock on wood, we have not had any full course yellows yet, which is a good thing.
One other thing to think about, perhaps, if the weather's clear, they may have to come in and get off those wets. Just looking at that Wisconsin sky, doesn't look very inviting to me. I think don't be putting your umbrella away yet. Mark Camini with a nice run.
Soup, something I saw there out of Marcomini's windshield. Matt Taylor went in deep into the gravel, exiting Canada corner. He fell back to fourth, but more importantly, he lost about 6 seconds on Kalisto as he comes across the line. And yeah, look at that lap time. They had 2:41.8, as now we start to see the frantic run down pit road for several drivers. Reagan, Marcomini, Rodriguez, Hearn, all coming into the pits. Galez and Munoz, interestingly enough, have not pitted yet. They're really gambling on those tires.
So you're saying, Soup, 22-second gap between Kalisto and Taylor, this thing's over. Well, perhaps. But all it takes is one little mistake by Little Train, and he's in the Wisconsin grass trying to get his way out of there, and that 22-second gap could shrink in a hurry. So every bit of mileage between you, real estate between you and the guy you're chasing in the points ladder there, is important.
It really is, because you need to, because really one slip up and it's game over, especially here. That grass and gravel is just super, super inviting. As we take a look at a replay of a blinking Rodriguez, and we see him on timing, but there he is, makes a spin there, the exit of turn 1, and that's really easy to do, especially on starts, restarts, and coming out of the pits with cold tires. Basically, if you have cold tires, you might want to take turn 1 just a little gingerly, but David Sorrow closing in on Marcomini's, both of them just with fresher tires.
Rodriguez started that lap in 7th position. After the mistake, he's fallen down to 11th. Richie Hearn has worked his way back up into 8th. Munoz finally makes his stop. pits from second. Falls all the way down to 10th by the time that stop is done. Gallus making the stop.
So far, this is the battle of the race between Marcomini and Siro. So Marcomini has the fresher tires by about 2 laps. Gallus now comes into the pits. Munoz into the pits as well. Although he's been in the pits for quite some time. So Hugo Gallus falling down in order as Marcomini and Siro pass him on. And Gallus out 8.4 seconds from the number 57.
Best battle on the track. Siro trying to run down Marcomini. Let's stay on this for a minute. It's so frustrating. Siro trying to get the power down, but it just, the harder you try, the slower you go.
Soup, I just got word from David Rodriguez. He is having connection issues. Rigney into the pits as well.
And Siro makes the pass. Marcomini now drops down into 5th spot. Siro looking for his first podium. He's sitting in 4th. Got a little bit of work. About 11 seconds to get to Reagan in 3rd, but one mistake from Reagan will get him there. You can see the gap from Callisto to Taylor. It was 23 seconds, now it's down to 19. Don't know if 15 minutes is enough time for Taylor to run him down.
It could be, because Taylor's running about 2 seconds a lap faster than Callisto. So that's going to be interesting to watch out for. You know, it's a big track, yes, but so 2 seconds. That means a lot. And of course, we see Taylor taking that rain line. Those who are wondering what I mean by rain line, you take the line off the groove at least 1 lane higher, and it gives your car just a little bit more grip, because with all that rubber that's packed down in the groove, it makes things just a little slick for the drivers.
Of course, a small field limits the amount of battles that are out on track right now. That was Taylor that just made his way around Lewis Hayes. Director, when you get a chance, how about giving a little love to Lewis Hayes? I love a guy who's just out there putting in the laps. He's racing in last. He's 2 laps down. But he's doing a good job not getting in anybody's way, and he's going to finish this race. Way to go, Lewis.
Jim Herrick with a long off track. He might be stopped off track now. He gets back underway somewhere early in the lap. But yeah, Lewis Hayes taking that number 38 into Canada corner. And yeah, no, not bad. In spite of him being a Clemson fan.
Herrick looped it around. Alex Guillon was able to get by him. A crash from Marcomini.
Yep, that'll happen.
Herrick had an off. Marcomini doing his best right now, able to hang on in 5th. Correct myself, he's down in, yeah, still in 5th.
And of course, I talked about once you get on the grass, it's going to catch you out. So no surprise that Herrick had that issue and basically looped it around in turn number 3. There is your leader tiptoeing his way around the circuit, but Soup, it's costing him a lot of time.
He's got maybe stop tiptoeing. It looks like Taylor had a bad lap. He had it down to 13 seconds. You got to wonder how hard Kalisto is pushing, if he's just minding the gap. It's now 16. I don't think there's enough time for Taylor to run him down the hard way. I think Kalisto's going to have to make a mistake for him to get there.
You mean like
that?
Oh,
And the leader just went by. Yeah. He had to get around the car that was on the track. A good job from Kalisto. There was a car parked on the track right at the kink. Wow, that could have been the race right there.
Yeah, that could have been, you know, him going off. Glendy with the issue. Glendy, second place in points. I think he probably went just once again, did not take the rain line, and that just brought the back end around. Thankfully, Kalisto was able to see that and make his way around.
Glendy was parked perpendicular at the kink. Usually I say stay on the binders and let the guys go around you, but he was ready to get tattooed. So luckily got on the throttle and was able just to get out of the way, and Kalisto put it in the grass. Pretty impressive for Lionel. Oh, Kalisto's off in Canada, but he's able to gather it up. Easy now. He's on the grass. He's back out. And that's what we talked about. Meanwhile, Taylor, though, had lost a whole bunch of time. Kalisto had a nice cushion.
See how much? Oh, he lost 6 seconds. Kalisto did. It's now 10.8 seconds, so maybe 7 seconds. Kalisto really has to put the nose to the grindstone and make sure he does not mess up. A little bit of a wiggle there. Clenworth sitting 1 lap down in 10th place, so 9 cars on the lead lap. It's getting a little treacherous out there, and we're in lap 21, working lap number 22. Like I said, we're starting to get to the point. Taylor has 3 lap fresher tires. Could that come into play as well?
I can't imagine tire wear that big of an issue. Perhaps the track looks so wear. I know the rain tires wear quickly, but man, we'll see how that plays out. Oh, Kalisto is just really working it. Let's go on board with Little Train, with Lionel. I think he's feeling the pressure right now. Watch his steering wheel when we get a chance here.
That car does not look happy.
Easy. Oh, you can see him overcorrect and then recorrect. He is really working it. The gap now under 10. Is he feeling the pressure?
He has to be, because a little bit of a wiggle there in turn number 14. This lap is not going to be respective of what the lap times between Kalisto and Taylor are, because obviously he had the visit to the turn 3 beach. So across the line, he lost a whole bunch of time. It's now 9.4 seconds separating Little Train from Taylor. And we'll see how he does here this next time by turn 3. I know in the back of his mind, he probably thinks, I don't want to screw up here. So let's stay on board with your leader making his way around turn number 3. And it goes a little bit higher, but still, he's still taking the racing line, Sue, but I think that's what's hurting him, and that's where Taylor's making up those grounds, because we saw Taylor running just about a groove higher off the regular racing line.
Oh, well, let's do that then. Let's compare the racing style between Kalisto. Let's go on board with Taylor and see how hard he's pushing it. Well, now it's not really fair as we're hitting one of the straighter parts of the track, but very nicely, smoothly done. No overcorrection there. Oh, just from 2 corners. I like what I'm seeing from Matt.
Oh yeah, smooth is fast when it comes to racing in the rain. So no surprise here that Taylor able to make it all work. But again, could it be too little too late, as we're just under 10 minutes left to go in this race. And Kalisto holding on to that 9-second advantage. You got to go back another 32 seconds to Reagan in 3rd place. as not many high climbers here from the grid. Your leader, one of them is Taylor with a little bit of an off course.
And Taylor working, he has a huge cushion behind him. He doesn't really have to worry. He's got about 30 seconds on Reagan. We might be looking at a battle for a podium. David Thoreau in fourth is doing his very best. The gap is about 2.5 seconds. This is a tick over. He's trying to run down Chris Reagan. There's Reagan in third. You can see him back there. You can see Thoreau.
Yeah, Thoreau with a fantastic race thus far. He's fallen back 2 spots, but he's really made his way through the field, especially with the wet weather tires. And he's one of the faster drivers out there in these conditions. So the French-Canadian looking pretty good, trying to close in to get that bottom step of the podium and kind of salvage a little bit of tonight. As you see, yeah, visually, it looks like Reagan's losing time to Thoreau.
Thoreau is coming, gobbling him up. You know, conditions are so bad. Those onboard cameras are some of the best shots we can give you. There you have it. Thoreau can see him. This is for an interview. Clicking away. Just under 5 minutes to go. Callisto's lead still comfortably over 8 seconds. This is the best battle on the track. Reagan goes very loose through that corner. Thoreau gets a good run.
Yeah, Thoreau's looking pretty good. I mean, he's running faster lap times than Reagan. It's only a matter of time before he really closes in. He's within a half a second, but it looks like Reagan's one of those drivers who the car is just a little unsure of where it wants to go. Now he is trying to point it in areas where the tires are going to grab some grip. Oh, look at that back end. It's dancing every which way but sideways right now.
Thoreau losing a little bit of time. We can stay here. It's so fun, though. Usually we have to jump you around so much on these broadcasts to cover everything. This is the best and probably only battle on the track right now, and it is for a podium spot. I don't know if this is actually going to be done on the track or in the grass. It might be a case of who makes the mistake first. Meanwhile, Lionel Callisto cannot have the clock tick fast enough. The lead down to a mere 4.5 seconds, just a tick over.
Tell you what, Callisto's hoping those sands in the hourglass are going to just sink just a little bit faster. He almost lost it there in turn 7 and now making his way through turn number 8. He will see the white flag this next time by, but Callisto wants father time to make things just run a little bit faster. Taylor wants to slow things down as he's under that 6-second threshold. And David Thoreau's hoping that he can get around Reagan to get onto that podium. Lewis Hayes into the pits once again. And here's the interesting part too, Soup. Callisto out of push to pass. Matt Taylor has 34 seconds. Reagan and Thoreau haven't even touched their button yet.
Be fun to see if Taylor's brave enough to use it. Let's go back and look at the battle for third. There he's still hunting him down. Thoreau's going to have to force the issue here pretty soon.
The last thing you want to do, though, is force the issue around here. And I think that we've got 2 laps to go. So, yeah, 2 laps to go for Callisto. Yeah. It's not
Good
what we want
news.
to see.
Good news for Taylor, not what Kalisto was hoping for. Good news for Soro is it gives him maybe one more lap to get this done on Reagan.
4 miles is such a long slog for some races, but this one, if you're the leader, Kalisto, you want it to be over soon. He was 5 seconds slower than Matt Taylor this last time by. If we go take a look at a camera, now it's 2 seconds. Oh man, no wait, that is the white flag up there. So this could be the last lap for Kalisto. Oh, and Taylor goes off.
Taylor had got to with under 3 seconds. That could be good night to the wet nurse. Let's go back to the battle. I think the pass is going to be made. Soro's taking a peek, putting the pressure on. Looking for a bite. He's got plenty of time to get it done. Not going to happen yet. He is so close. Let's try the outside. I think that's going to work. Pass made.
What a fantastic pass there. Now that gives Reagan a chance to see if he can make something happen. He's got 2 great passing opportunities coming up, heading into Canada corner and coming off a turn number 14 to make the slingshot pass. But I've got to say this, Soup, it's going to be all Lionel Kalisto if he can bring it home in one piece. He's had his problems, but tell you what, he's done quite well for himself by gambling on those wet tires.
Nicely done. Checkered flag for Little Train. Taylor will get second. Let's stay on this battle for third. Still plenty of time for Reagan to make the pass. Soro opening up the gap a little bit. No more corners for those two. Third place. David Soro, Chris Reagan in 4th. And Mark Amini's going to finish up in 5th. 9 cars finish on the lead lap. The racing is over here at Watkins Glen. Our broadcast is not. We'll take a short break, dry off a bit, come back, run down the entire finishing order, talk to some of the drivers before we put a lock on the gate. Don't go far. You're watching the Virtual Gift Network. From a wet road America, it's the Virtual Grip Network's fourth round coverage of the ISRA Sim Gaming Expo Open Wheeled Series. My goodness, this title of this series is a mouthful. Season number 3. The results are in. He started in 10th position. He started on the wet tires, and that may have been the difference, as he only had to make one stop while everyone else had to make two. Lionel Callisto gets the win. Matt Taylor, very impressive drive, was putting the pressure on Callisto at the end, keeping him honest. Ran out of time, and he'll have to settle for second. David Sorrell with a nice run as he was able to make the pass for third. Mateus Marcamini gets up into fourth position with Hugo Galles behind him. Richie Hearn, tough week, tough race for him. Lots of cars passed, lots of time spent in the grass. He gets sixth. Alex Guillon after that. I'll go down here to Rodrigo Munoz. And the last two cars, not believe much for my partner here. Chris Reagan had an issue, I think, on a corner 4 on the very last lap. The car did not cross the start-finish line. He is still sitting there right now as I look at him. He'll settle for ninth. And Kyle Clenworth in 10th position. And you get the rest of the guys back there, partner.
Yeah, Jim Herrick 2 laps down in 11th out of the race. Lewis Hayes, Mike Rigney, and David Rodriguez with spin coming out of the pits and connection issues. So really an interesting race, and yeah, unfortunately Reagan ending the race with a box full of neutrals.
And with that said, not sure who we're going to get to talk to today. I guess we can talk with Lionel Callisto. We can talk to him. He's down there waiting to talk. We can talk to Lionel on a long train. Let's bring him up here. Little train, it's Soup up in the booth. Congratulations on the win. And for me, so happy to talk to you, man.
Hey, how you doing?
Been a long time. Well, good strategy. Started on the wets.
Got really lucky with that because I went wets and then I went back to the garage, switched to reds, and I'm like, I see everybody's in reds, so I'm like, I'll go reds. And then I started the race, I'm like, oh wait, it never switched over. I started wets, so I'm like,
Oh,
uh-oh. But then I'm like, well, it might have advantage on this. So it worked out like favorably. Like it was really lucky. It was like a lucky mistake.
a lucky mistake indeed. All right, talk us about the end. Were you pushing hard? Were you minding the gap? He was closing in on you. You got to the point where one mistake, you weren't far enough ahead where you could afford to make one mistake.
Yeah, I was definitely trying to push it. I started noticing it was catching up, so I keep trying to like push the braking, like later, and then I just keep going like what, like 3 times I went off track. Uh, there's a couple times I hit a puddle and it upsets the car like under braking, so I just didn't see it coming. So I mean, I got really lucky, honestly. Like I should have wrecked so many times.
Well, we haven't seen you much on the broadcast here as VGN. What you been doing on iRacing? You been keeping yourself busy?
Doing a little bit of the majors now. Not too much, but yeah, just majors and just doing here and there once in a while. Not too much.
Now, Lionel, if you're going to do the majors, come on, you got to go the whole way. You can't just pick and choose what majors you're going to race. You got to put yourself in the cars you don't like.
Yeah, I'm trying to do full time in the majors. I've
All
been just
right.
pretty busy, but yeah, majors, and I'll try to get in these races too. Wednesdays are pretty tough for me. Usually I'll like play beer league hockey at this time. This week I don't have a game, so I'm like, oh, I guess I can race tonight.
All right. Well, it's always fun to do a broadcast with you, man. Good luck. We'll see you. I've been
Hey,
calling your stuff for a long time. We'll see you down the road.
hey, appreciate it. Thank you. It's good seeing you.
All right. Lionel Little Train Callisto picking up the win. Partner, do you got somebody to talk to?
I do. I have your third place driver, David Sorrell. And gotta say, sir, it's great to see you come up through the field and work your way to the bottom step of the podium. Congratulations.
No, thanks. It was a crazy race. I'm, I'm not very happy with the. I spun 2 times in the carousel, and I did too many mistakes. But at the end of the race, the pace was very good. I was taking risks because I wanted to um, close the gap with Chris Reagan in third place, and I made a few good passes. I'm very happy. I love racing the rain.
I was gonna say, it looked like you channeled your inner Uncle Jocks there and really made your way around the circuit quite nicely. That pass on Marcamini was absolutely fantastic. But yeah, you talk about racing in the rain. It seems like Road America is one of the more challenging racetracks when it comes to running in wet conditions.
Yeah, the biggest problem here was visibility because it was very hard to know, especially when there was a car ahead of you, to see where you are on the track and to see the wet part of the track. So it was very tricky, and the carousel was very hard to take. Every time I was going there, I was afraid to spin, and otherwise the track was very fun to drive. I'm very happy.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of drivers, you're either really good or they had a very upset day. Next race weekend, I get some home cooking. It's Chicagoland Speedway. What are you looking forward to most about that mile and a half speedway?
Well, I'm not a fan of, I'm not a specialist of oval courses, so I'm much more a road course. Oval, I'm not very good at, and it's the first time I'm racing this car, so every time is a challenge. It is a new thing. I have a lot of things to learn with this car, but hopefully I will be able to go in the top five.
To say some people call it stomp and steer. With this car, you might actually have to do a little bit of driving. Either way, third place in these conditions, absolutely stellar. Congratulations, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you. And by the way, I'm French Canadian, and my name is David Sirois. Just by the way.
Soup, did you catch that?
I did, and I'm going to get it perfect next time.
Zero.
And
Thank you,
with that,
Ben.
I say, and to him, I say, bon voyage. See how I did that there? I got right into your language for you.
Yeah, thanks. Nice job. Thank you for the great
Hey,
broadcast. You're doing a great job.
I'm looking at the schedule. We are going to Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, so that's
Yep.
up there somewhere. So that might be fun for you, man.
Yeah. Hopefully, I will do better next time.
All right. Good luck. Thank you very much.
Thank you. See you next time.
There we
David
have it. A good.
Sirwa.
There. Oh, that was. Thank you. I was going to leave it for you. That was well done, man. Hey, partner, you're a professional of this. You've done this. Why don't you get us out of here with some professional skills? Watch this, folks.
Professional skills. That's scary. Hey, keep it tuned here to VGN tomorrow night. The Skidder Creek Modified Series at the Daytona International Speedway. Boss man, is that on the backstretch that they're going to be running? They going to run the whole 2.5 mile oval. All right, they're going to run the road course. Oh, that's going to be dangerous. I'm back on Friday at Lanier National Speedway for the Steelcraft Structures Super Late Models. Soup, you and I are back on Saturday for the Late Model Series at Lanier. And of course, yesteryear, the Gen 4s at the Daytona International Speedway after the big race there. Catch all these races live on VGN. Next week, we're at Chicagoland Speedway. I can't wait. It's one of my favorite oval races. So for all of us at the Virtual Grip Network, my commentator, Bill Soup, son, producer, director, Lowell Jewell, the boss man, and the entire crew. My name's Jeremy Scott. Remember to keep it pointing forward, keep it between the ditches, and always keep it greasy side down. We'll see you next time here on the Virtual Grip Network.